This is the assembly video for the Blood Bowl Scoreboard from Ironheart Artisans. You're going to unbag your product and go ahead and find something dull to poke all of the little bits that have hung on from the laser cutting process out. You're going to have to find something fairly thin to get out some of the cuts that are in the scoreboard and walkway area between the planks. It's pretty thin stuff. All of the cuts should be almost completely gone. They are cut through, rather. If there's anything hanging on, it will just be less than a quarter millimeter or so. So as you do this, you can organize your pieces. You're separating your pile of your verticals, your storage boxes for the back, your scoreboard, or score plates rather, or tiles. You've got a victim and a home team sign. You have these little bits for the handrails and the hooks to hang on. I clear out stuff and kind of organize a little bit better here. See that the verticals have 3 sections to them. They have a left, right, and center. We're using Loctite professional super glue here. And the core of all the verticals has no slots in them. So you'll go ahead and attach it to an outside edge. And there'll be a slight variation. It'll be slightly off. We wanted the design to come across as very haphazardly built or ramshackly built, so you'll find that in a lot of places in this design that there is a extra slight edge to any of the overlap. So just aim for aligned on spots where things will be meeting up later on, so like the walkway, do your best, or right against the back. But again, it will just add another ridge to it when you paint, so it'll just make it look a little more interesting, or a little more depth to the design for it being a bunch of slapped together wood. Okay, so we're going to do all 3 verticals. The center vertical has slots on both sides for the horizontal braces. And now we're going to do the horizontal braces. They are assembled in 3 parts as well, just like the verticals. So they have a core, which has the tabs, and then a front and a back. This is the same for the wood grain version or the non-wood grain version, just these cover pieces do not have wood grain on them. It was the idea in the design that it would make everything seem thicker and chunkier than single layer MDF, where we did not want it to appear to be built by elves, but trolls and some goblins maybe. So it's built thick, and these beams are big. You gotta withstand those Blood Bowl crowds. Anyway, after you get your first side on, we'll go back and do the same to the opposite side on all of these horizontal braces. So now we're going to go ahead and assemble basically the superstructure for the scoreboard. So you're going to find the center one, which has a set of tabs on either side. You may have to trim off a little of the piece from a cut here or there. And go ahead and find it easiest to start with it laying flat. And you're going to put the middle one to the side there. And switch it over. Now this is a loose fit. These are not tight. In case you wanted to make it look a little more ramshackly and lopsided, or kind of slightly goblin-esque smacked together, I'm going to use some rubber bands. Don't get too strong a rubber band. It'll make it kind of close in on itself, so just get something to hold it together slightly while the glue sets up. You can use clamps as well if you have little ones that are handy. But again, just make sure you don't put too much tension on it so that it kind of rolls in on itself. Now, the storage boxes that go on the back here for holding the score tiles will act as a squaring object for the back there once you assemble them. So You have your base and then two sides and a front edge to it. The cross brace, the bottom cross brace from the superstructure of the scoreboard is the back of the little trough box thing. As you're assembling, keep an eye on where your parts will start to meet up instead of just kind of putting glue in the slots, so to speak. If you have a better idea of actually what parts touch each other, you'll have a better assembly. I dry fit a lot of this stuff before I do it the first time, just so I can see where exactly the contact points are, so where you should put your glue. I noticed people will commonly miss the point where the objects actually touch when gluing things from models or MDF kits or anything. They assume that this is where it'll touch, and then the glue doesn't actually set up very strong because the points are not actually touching each other. So it's always a good idea to dry fit in whatever you're assembling, really. And now we'll put together our second trough here. Now the troughs attach with that unetched tab there going to the bottom of the horizontal, and then the verticals on the side of the trough will touch, the bottom half of them will touch that same point. There will be a small gap between the verticals of the superstructure and the troughs themselves. You can see pretty clearly here those peg kind of nail heads that we've designed into the verticals for the superstructure to look like it's been beaten into the ground so the scoreboard doesn't get blown over from any wizard's antics on the pitch or the crowd. Alright, so you're going to poke out the slots for the backboard for the score tower. And we're going to go ahead and put on the walkway. And it has 3 holes cut in it for the handrail, but it has 3 notches in the back for where the verticals from the superstructure will align. So that can start to square up your scoreboard if you want it to be perfectly square. We're going to put some glue on this and put it across where the verticals will be. You can see where the nails are supposed to line up. First we need to put on the back of it so that both sides of the planks look like they're etched. We're going to line up. I find it's easier to look at the outline along the edge there to line that up. The back side does not have the holes in it for the hangers. Let's see, we'll go ahead and glue the little hangers on for the score tiles. Flash left from the cut. Put some glue on the verticals here. And drop it in. You can see now the wood grain, because the back is exposed, we wanted to have the wood grain detail on both sides. Now we're going to just lay in a couple of score tiles so that when we place the home and victim signs up there, we know that there's enough room to get them on their hangers. So wherever you put them, just make sure that you check that you can get your score tiles on and off easily, so they're not blocked by that. You don't want to put them too low. And since these are all each individual design, just check with a couple of them because they have different thicknesses there by the hooks. Alright, now these 3 little pieces are the supports for the handrails. So I need to keep the apothecary focused on keeping the players on the pitch, not worrying about the scorekeepers falling off the score tower. And they will go either with the notches facing in or out, depending if you want the handrails to face out or face in. You also have a finishing trim piece here that will cover the ends of the verticals just below. And then you'll have your handrails. Now they kind of just fit in the notches for keeping them level, but you can put them as far left to right as you like. or has ramshackle you want it to look. And then before putting them in the storage troughs in the back, I like to lay out the score tiles so that you can just flip through them easily, kind of like a little index card thing. So as you play, you and your opponent can keep your own score, or if you have a goblin to do it for you, obviously put that thing to work. And each player has up to 6. And if you're beating your opponent by more than 6 in a Blood Bowl game, do you really need to keep score anymore? And last but not least, if you don't have a troll to climb on for your scorekeeper, you've got a ladder. And the walkway area is made so that you can put any of the new 32mm bases up there. And of course, any of the old 25mm as well. And there's your scoreboard, all ready to go. Get it on the pitch and roll some dice. Thanks for watching.